All right, let's dive in. Today, we're heading to the incredible wetlands of South America
Oh, an amazing choice.
to meet the capybara.
The world's largest rodent.
And I know, when you think rodent, you're probably thinking like rats or something.
Right. Definitely not what you'd expect.
The capybara is a whole different story. We're going to find out how these captivating creatures, even though they might seem ordinary at first glance,
Yeah.
have actually become masters of their environment.
Exactly. They've evolved some pretty extraordinary survival skills.
And they're totally winning hearts all over the planet.
It's true. Their charm is undeniable.
So let's get started with the most obvious thing. They're giant rodents.
That's the first thing that comes to mind for most people, right?
Yeah, exactly. But how giant are we talking? Like, is it just a slightly bigger rat? Or,
Oh, no. Think way bigger. They can get up to 1.3 meters long
wow,
and way over 66 kilograms.
that's like bigger than some dogs.
Absolutely. Their size is a major advantage in their environment, especially when it comes to what they eat.
So what do they eat? Since they're rodents, I'm assuming they're not exactly picky eaters.
Actually, they're strict herbivores. But you're right, their environment does present some dietary challenges.
Like what?
Well, they're dealing with really tough plants in those wetlands. Lots of fibrous stuff.
Ah, I see. So how do they handle that?
Their size is definitely a factor. They have a pretty large digestive system,
Makes sense.
but they also have this rather unique habit. It's called coprophagy.
Coprophagy? That sounds...
Yeah, it's not the most glamorous adaptation.
Mhm.
Basically, they eat their own droppings.
Whoa. Okay, I was not expecting that.
It might seem a little gross,
It's a bit.
but it's actually a super clever way for them to get the most out of their food.
Really? How does that work?
So their digestive system, like many herbivores, relies on bacteria to break down all those tough plant fibers.
Right.
By re-ingesting their, well, waste, they're giving those good gut bacteria another chance to work their magic.
So they're basically double dipping on the nutrient.
Exactly. They're extracting every last bit of goodness from those plants.
Wow. Nature is amazing.
It really is. And that's just one example of how they've adapted to their environment.
So it's not just about their size, there's more to it.
Oh yeah, their semi-aquatic lifestyle is another fascinating aspect.
Semi-aquatic. So they're comfortable both on land and in water.
Exactly. Think lush wetlands,
Yeah.
dense riverbanks, sprawling tropical forests.
I can picture it.
They're perfectly at home in all these environments. And they love the water.
Why are they so drawn to water?
It's crucial for their survival. It helps them regulate their body temperature.
Especially important in those hot South American climates.
Exactly. It also offers them a way to escape predators.
Like a quick getaway route.
Exactly. They can dive right in and disappear. Plus, their eyes and ears are positioned in a way that lets them stay alert even when they're partially submerged.
So they can keep an eye out for danger while staying cool and hidden. That's pretty clever.
Right. And their webbed feet make them excellent swimmers.
Webbed feet. Like ducks.
Yeah, kind of. It helps them navigate those waterways with ease.
So they're big, they have a very unique way of eating, and they're amazing swimmers. Anything else?
Oh, we haven't even touched on their social lives yet.
Oh, right. I did hear something about them being social creatures.
They are highly social. They live in these big groups of 10 to 30 individuals, sometimes even bigger.
Wow, that's a lot of capybaras hanging out together. What's the social structure like? Are they all just one big, happy family?
Well, there is a hierarchy. You'll typically find a dominant male, a bunch of females, and some subordinate males and their offspring.
So it's a bit more organized than just a random gathering.
Definitely. And there are good reasons for living in these large groups.
I would think it would be easier to find food and avoid predators on your own. Why stick together?
Safety in numbers, right?
Hmm.
More eyes to watch for predators, more individuals to defend against attacks.
Makes sense.
Plus, they can work together to find the best feeding spots.
Ah, so it's a cooperative effort.
Precisely, and they even share parenting duties.
Oh, that's adorable, like a capybara daycare.
Exactly. Multiple females will help care for and protect the young. It increases their chances of survival, and it strengthens the bonds within the community.
So it's more than just survival. It's about building a strong, supportive group.
Absolutely. They've got this incredible system of communal parenting.
That's fascinating. But even with their size and their social strategies, they must still have enemies, right?
Oh, definitely. They might be large, but they're not invincible.
What kind of predators are we talking about?
Like jaguars, pumas, anacondas, even caimans.
Whoa, that's quite a list. How do they stand a chance against those guys?
Well, their size helps, of course, but their main defense is their agility.
So they can outrun or outswim those predators.
Exactly. They can run surprisingly fast, up to 35 kilometers per hour, and they're masters at diving and staying underwater for several minutes.
So it's a combination of speed and their love for the water.
Exactly. They can be grazing on land, and then boom, they're in the water,
Mm.
leaving those land-based predators behind.
It's like a magic trick. They disappear into the water.
It's a remarkable example of how they've evolved to survive in a challenging environment.
They really do seem to have it all figured out. They're big, they have a weird diet, they're social butterflies, they're incredibly agile.
They're amazing creatures, that's for sure.
But there's got to be some challenges, right? They can't be completely immune to everything.
You're right. While they've adapted to many natural challenges, they're facing a new threat these days.
Oh, what's that?
Us. Humans.
Ah, right. I was afraid you were going to say that.
Human activities like habitat destruction and hunting are putting pressure on capybara populations in some areas.
I see. So even a creature as adaptable as the capybara isn't immune to the impacts of human activity.
Sadly, no. But there is hope. Their resilience and adaptability, combined with growing conservation efforts, are giving us reason to believe that these gentle giants will continue to thrive.
It's good to hear. So it sounds like we've covered a lot of ground already.
We've just scratched the surface.
But we're just getting started. We'll dive deeper into the world of capybara conservation.
Yes. We'll explore the efforts being made to protect these amazing creatures.
And uncover the reasons why ensuring their survival is so important.
It's not just about saving one species. It's about preserving the delicate balance of their entire ecosystem.
So we've talked about how amazing capybaras are.
They really are fascinating creatures, aren't they?
But I'm also curious about, like, the research side of things. You know, how do scientists actually study these animals
Great question.
in the natural habitats? It's one thing to, like, see them in a zoo or on the internet,
Right.
but actually getting those deeper insights into their behavior, their social interactions,
Oh, yeah.
their role in the ecosystem,
It's a whole other level of understanding.
that's got to be challenging.
Oh, for sure. But researchers have come up with some pretty clever techniques. One of the most effective is radiotelemetry.
Radiotelemetry, what's that?
So basically, they attach these small transmitters to individual capybaras.
Oh, interesting.
And these transmitters emit signals that researchers can track.
So it's like a GPS tracker for capybaras?
Pretty much. It allows them to map the animal's movements, understand their habitat preferences,
Ah, I see.
and even study their interactions with other capybaras and even other species.
So it's like a window into their secret lives.
Exactly. And it provides a wealth of data. We can learn about their daily routines, home ranges, seasonal movements.
Wow, that's incredible. I bet they've uncovered some pretty surprising things using this technology.
Oh, yeah, definitely. One of the most intriguing findings has been the complexity of their communication system.
Wait, really? I thought they mostly just made those cute squeaking sounds.
Well, those squeaks are more meaningful than you might think, but they actually have a pretty diverse repertoire of vocalizations.
Like what?
Whistles, clicks, grunts, even purrs.
Capybaras purr. That's adorable.
Right. And they also use scent marking and body language to communicate.
So it's not just random noises. There's actual meaning behind those sounds and actions.
Absolutely. They're communicating all sorts of things, from alarm signals warning of predators
Right.
to social cues that indicate dominance or submission within the group.
So it's like they have their own secret language?
In a way, yeah. They're constantly sharing information to navigate the challenges of their environment and maintain that social harmony within their groups.
That makes sense. And you mentioned they can even communicate with other species.
Yeah, that's one of the most fascinating aspects. Researchers have observed capybaras interacting with a whole range of animals.
Like what?
Birds, turtles, even caimans.
Wait, caimans. Aren't those predators?
They are. But there seems to be a level of tolerance, especially when food is abundant.
So they can coexist peacefully sometimes.
It seems so.
Yeah.
Capybaras have been seen grazing near caimans without incident. And some bird species even perch on the backs of capybaras, feeding on ticks and parasites.
Wow, so it's like a symbiotic relationship.
Exactly. It highlights the interconnectedness of life within an ecosystem.
And it shows that nature can be full of surprises.
Absolutely. Even seemingly simple creatures like capybaras play a crucial role in maintaining ecological balance.
And speaking of interactions, capybaras have a long history of interacting with humans too, haven't they?
Oh yeah, for sure. Their presence in South American cultures goes way back.
What kind of role have they played?
Well, indigenous peoples have long recognized them as a food source,
Right.
but they've also been incorporated into myths, legends, folklore, all sorts of cultural traditions.
What do they symbolize?
Different things to different cultures. Fertility, resilience, all sorts of positive attributes.
That's so interesting. It shows how deeply they're embedded in the cultural fabric of South America.
Exactly. And that relationship with humans continues to evolve today,
Mm.
especially in the digital age.
Oh, right. The chillest animals on the internet.
Exactly. They become internet sensations, which has led to a surge in interest in them as pets.
I can see why. They are adorable.
They are. But it sparked a lot of debate about the ethics and practicality of keeping capybaras in captivity.
I imagine caring for a capybara is a lot more complicated than caring for a cat or a dog.
Oh, absolutely. They have very specific needs. They need lots of space, access to water for swimming,
Makes sense.
and a specialized diet. Plus, they're social animals. So keeping a solitary capybara as a pet can be really detrimental to their well-being.
So it's a big responsibility.
It is.
Oh.
And it's important to remember that these are wild animals at heart.
Right. Their charm shouldn't overshadow their need for proper care and conservation.
Well said. And speaking of conservation, let's delve into the efforts being made to protect capybaras in the wild.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because we've talked about all these amazing things about them, but I know they're facing some challenges.
They are. And it's important to understand what those challenges are and what's being done to address them.
So we've talked about how incredible capybaras are and some of the research being done to understand them better.
Right, they really are remarkable creatures.
But now I think it's time to address something a little less fun.
Yeah, the challenges they're facing.
Because it's not all sunshine and roses, right?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
While they're currently classified as a species of least concern on the IUCN Red List,
Okay, so that means...
which means they're not in immediate danger of extinction,
Gotcha.
but it doesn't mean they're completely out of the woods. There are still reasons to be concerned about their populations.
So what are some of those concerns?
Well, habitat loss is a major issue.
Of course, that makes sense.
As wetlands are converted for agriculture or urban development, capybaras lose those crucial resources they need.
Right. They need those wetlands to survive.
Exactly. And it's especially concerning in areas where there's a lot of deforestation happening.
Or where water resources are being polluted or diverted.
Exactly. And it's not just about the number of capybaras, it's about the quality of their habitat.
Right. The habitat has to be healthy for them to thrive.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, habitat loss isn't the only threat they're facing.
There's more.
Yeah, hunting is another significant issue.
Really? People hunt capybaras.
Sadly, yes. In some regions, they're hunted for their meat and hides.
I see.
And sometimes they're even seen as pests, which leads to conflicts with farmers and ranchers.
It's so sad.
It is. But the good news is that there are lots of people working hard to protect them.
So what's being done to address these threats? What can be done to help capybaras?
Well, habitat conservation is a key strategy.
So protecting the areas where they live.
Exactly. That can involve setting up protected areas, restore degraded wetlands, promoting more sustainable land management practices.
I see. So it's about thinking long-term and making sure their habitats are healthy.
Right. And there are also efforts to address the hunting issue.
Like stricter regulations.
Exactly. Some countries have put hunting bans or regulations in place, while others are working to raise awareness about sustainable hunting practices.
So educating people about the impacts of overhunting.
Right. And community-based conservation initiatives are also super important.
What are those?
They involve local communities in the management and protection of capybaras and their habitats.
So getting everyone on board.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we all have a role to play in protecting these animals.
It makes sense because it's not just about saving one species, it's about preserving the entire ecosystem.
You got it. Capybaras are what's called a keystone species.
What does that mean?
It means they play a crucial role in maintaining the balance of their ecosystem.
Ah, okay.
Their grazing helps control plant growth, their droppings provide nutrients for other organisms,
Right.
and they're a food source for predators. So their decline would have a ripple effect throughout the entire food web.
Wow, that's amazing. So even though they might seem like simple creatures, they have a huge impact.
Exactly. It's a reminder that all living things are connected, and that even the loss of a seemingly ordinary creature can have big consequences.
It really highlights how important conservation is.
Absolutely. It's about protecting the incredible diversity of life on our planet.
And making sure that future generations can enjoy these amazing animals.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah, it's been a truly fascinating journey into the world of the